All right. Thought it was good. As we've progressed into game week, it was good having the prior week of introduction and really trying to just ramp up, the confidence, understanding, really trying to hone in on our on the details, continuing to focus on situations, that could show up throughout the course of the game. I think guys are handling that. I think, especially some of the young guys, newcomers, just building that, that confidence and communication that's been, it just does take time. And, I think that they're putting a good emphasis towards that, of taking what they're hearing in the meeting room, applying it out there on the field, trying to put them in some challenging situations for what they could see. First game of the year, you're always going to have a big, there's always going to be a lot of volume that you're going to throw at them of potential things that could show up. And, I've been pleased with how the guys have responded through that, throughout the practice time. And, tomorrow, Friday, they're going to be critical as we continue to lead up to game day. But I think our guys are in the right place. Got a great mindset. It's been good. You're getting a couple guys back in practice. I know I mentioned Squirrel. This week, he's able to get some work over the weekend, and he's looked good. Getting back out there on the field. Really feel that his confidence in how he's playing, seeing guys that that might have been a little bit limited, really been able to cut loose. I think that they're moving fast, and I'm excited about the way that they've worked throughout this week up to this point.
I know you guys like the talent in your secondary on defense, but obviously their wide receiver core is probably as good as it gets. What challenges do they present? Is it one guy, two guys, five guys?
No, that's every guy that's in their receiving core can hurt you. And they're talented players. I think they do a great job in how they move their receivers. So they're not going to just be in one place. Whether they're playing on the outside, moving to the slot. Guys that are aggressive to the ball. When it's in the air. You see contested catches. It's schematically they work to try to find the best one-on-ones as they can, and so every person in our secondary has to be prepared for their moment. And it's trusting technique, leverages, whether it's man, zone, whatever we're playing. You've got to put yourself in the best position. They're going to make some plays. That's going to happen throughout the course of a game. Because it is this is arguably one of the best receiving corps in the country that we're going to be facing, and so but at the end of the day, if they get their hands on the ball, we got to make sure that we're violent to all things, and in the aggressiveness of how we play. I think our guys are excited for the opportunity that we have, but it definitely is going to be a great challenge.
We'll come over here to Brendan. How was Daniel Lyons doing? Like when we talked to you, I think midway through.
Daniel, he was working his way back throughout the better part of the summer, and in all honesty, there was some missed workouts of for conditioning. There's some things that he had to kind of get himself back into the flow. I think he's done a great job through fall camp of being able to do that, and he is I would say this last week plus. You've seen that consistency show up of effort, the strength that he's had. He's played meaningful snaps for us, and he's shown the flashes of what he could do. I think that the consistency is really you're starting to emerge, and I've been proud of him for that. And just the way that he's playing, and obviously the longevity of what he's able to do, that was much different than the first couple weeks of fall camp.
Over the last month, how has that starting group of the O-line kind of come together and got a better feeling of playing beside one another?
No, I think it's been really good, and from the communication to the competition that they have. And then just working the different combinations, and whether it's twist game, whether it's you obviously run schemes, understanding IDs. I think Luke Pettibone's done an outstanding job just as a center, and that bases so much of the communication off of what he sees, and the different looks that we get. And he's remarkable, and I think that you see guys that he is able to create a confidence of at least knowing that we're putting ourselves in the best position to get started, and then we got to react to whatever shows up. And so you see that those different combinations, you see the different pass offs, you see the way that guys are gelling together, and I think we put ourselves in a position to be able to have 7 to 8 guys that men felt a lot of confidence in that we can go win football games with, and I still feel like there's guys that are pushing to continue to develop, and that's what you're looking for, especially in that group, and guys that have played a lot of football. And you look at the top 6 guys that we've had. I mean, they've all been multiple-year starters throughout their careers, and it's been fun to see them gel together.
Coach, with the 105 scholarship limit now, the rosters, how did you plan for that? Say months out, years out, and then how's it helped? How's it limited?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk of it, I guess, this off-season, coming out of the season in 24, that there was going to be a reduced roster count, and it hadn't been approved, and some of those things. So, I was very transparent with a lot of our players. The guys that had been walk-ons, guys that might have a chance to be a part of the roster, then the guys that couldn't make any promises of what that would look like, and I really put it in their hands. And because what I didn't want to happen is I didn't want to have a guy that stayed here all spring and then just due to a hard count 105 couldn't be a part of it, and then missed out on maybe an opportunity to go earn a place at a different school or different institution. Now, we had some guys that stayed and competed and actually put themselves in great positions, and with the where they were able to kind of grandfather in a few more. It's allowed us to have just a little bit over just what the 105 is, but I'm excited about where our roster's at, and really the growth and development of certain positions, and some guys that we were able to to kind of get in and have an opportunity to go and showcase their talents and abilities. And some guys have already, in a very quick fashion, shown themselves to be guys that will be able to help us in the short term, but I think become great players there in the long term too. So I think it's all come together really well, and obviously there will be some continued ebb and flow of how that goes from year to year.
For a guy like Jaylen Lucas, obviously last year there was a lot of excitement and it ended really quickly. Gets a start, and what kind of impact can he have, especially in Gus's offense, with the ability to kind of move around and be a gadget kind of player?
Yeah, I mean, I think he really is he's a game changer in a lot of different ways, and he's got great speed, acceleration, deceleration, making guys miss, and then he's so versatile. I mean, he can line up in the backfield, you can move him around. He's got really good ball skills. I think. Obviously offensively, I think that's going to be a critical component, and being able to get the ball to our playmakers, and no doubt that he's one of them. But then also, being able to find the ways in special teams for him to be able to just get touches. And every time he gets the ball in his hands, something electric can happen, and he's put a lot of time and work in that. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing his impact.
What aspects of having Gus as a play caller are you looking forward to for yourself, I guess, from a game management perspective?
No, I mean, it definitely helps. Even just in my game preparation. I mean, just to take another step in how thorough I can be of just situations that arose. Trying to be able to give probably a little bit of different insight when it comes to special teams and defensively, things that expect. Being able to have a little bit more freedom on that, just in my personal time, was being able to study and get that perspective. And then obviously Gus and I have a great relationship, and have been able to do a really good job in just being able to combine perspective. Obviously that's my foundation of what we've done offensively. It really comes from him. And as I grew throughout the years, there were some differences that showed up. But this is his offense, and to be able to see how he's continued to grow and evolve, and all things that he's been able to do throughout his career. I mean, it's been a lot of fun for me, and obviously it's everything that we're doing is to put our players in the best position to go make plays in all three phases, and I've liked how it's been for my game prep, but also looking forward to Saturday and just mode of operation.
We talked to Randy Pittman yesterday, and we know that he's going to be a key player for you guys, but he just seems like an impressive dude. Like, he just seems like it's what you want as a football player. Has he been that? Yeah, I mean, he's probably one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, ever. Like, he is Randy's got a great skill set. He's not the biggest guy in the world when he walks in, but man, he will fight, and he will do everything that he can to put himself and this football team in a position to be successful. And you talk about guys that are winners. I mean, Randy's got that, and even in time since he's been here, helping him kind of grow through the process and emerging as a guy that is has such leadership potential. But when he talks, guys listen, because they watch him work, and he is like players talk about being a dog. I mean, when he shows up, you're getting one thing, and he's no doubt about it. Got an elite mindset when it comes to the competitive nature of this game, and doing all that he can to help a team go be successful.
Corey, how do you? Gus hasn't really taken it. Well, he's been his own boss for a good long while now. How do you envision the dynamics going on Saturday, if it is a fourth down decision? Or if it is, you have a suggestion. Like, how do those dynamics?
Yeah.
Because he goes so fast, I wonder how that.
No, and it's really, obviously when you're a head coach and you're calling it, it's you don't have to communicate with anybody, but there would still be elements of, even when I was calling plays, hey, if it's after maybe a second down, knowing that, hey, there's the thought process of how we might attack these next two downs. Now I just get to say it on the headset, and I try to think of all options of what could, how it's going to flow. If there are opportunities where, hey, we're going to have a fourth down call potential, I like to tell guys early, because I think sometimes that could affect every part. It could affect the third down situation, and just kind of play a step ahead. And that's been part of even our preseason preparation when it comes to scrimmages and working 2-minute drills, 4-minute drills. It's a lot of it, yes, for players to understand it, but more than anything else, you have two new coordinators on both sides of the ball. How we're going to be able to work together in our communication, the expectation I have for them, for the staff, and then all the things we can do to help put this football team in position to succeed.
Matt, last year it felt like starting in Ireland, you guys didn't really get a normal weekly routine, and then the Monday game, right? Like, it was all kind of messed up and was off, and having to travel overseas.
A lot of things messed up about
This year you actually got to get in that routine early, like starting last week as a game week, and then you're in it normal this week. How much does that help you guys that it's the regular routine right away?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a benefit to it. It's got to show up on Saturday. Like you said, talk about how good we feel and this, that, and the other. Then go play, go put it on display, and But it's definitely for a football team, and a football team full of young guys that have grown, developed through it, and then newcomers that have joined the program. I've liked our routine, and we need every day. Like tomorrow's got to be an elite day of preparation. Friday, elite day. Saturday before the game, everything leading up to it. Because when you have newcomers that are going to make a huge impact, new coaches. I mean, we all got to be clicking on one accord, and especially when you're going against a very talented team like we are.
Corey, it's obvious season openers are always important. Coming off what happened last year and the opponent you're facing this year, it's just one game, but is it more than one game?
It's a great opportunity for us. I mean, and at the end of the day, this is the 2025 Florida State football team. The 19 wins that we had in a row from 22 and 23 is not going to win a game for us this fall, right? The disappointing season for what last year was is not going to lose us a game this fall. It's not going to win us a game either. It's what we do in the moment with the opportunity that's there to get a chance to be on the national stage playing a team that you can watch film. I mean, this team has every bit of potential to compete for a national championship this year. Right? I've got a lot of confidence in our football team. And so I'm excited to see us go and compete in this game. And I've got a lot of belief in what we can do and what we can accomplish. But that belief, it's got to, we got to go execute it. We got to go do it. And so, I'm glad the way that all things have come together. Being able to be at home, being able to have the routine like we just talked about. Being able to have this opponent. You're gonna know exactly where you are coming out of it, and then obviously all things do get better, right? And that's what this game, that's what this season is. And so I'm really pleased with the work and preparation from our players, and we're ready to go play somebody.
We got time for two more, Ira.
Looks like you guys might get some weather Saturday. I know you guys did wet ball drills and different things to prepare for, but how much of it is mindset and just perseverance, or how much of it is preparation?
No, I think you got to prepare for it, and yes, you can't get distracted by it. And so, we were fortunate. This actually in fall camp, it was one of the few times since I've been here that we've had a couple of rain practices where we could go outside and there wasn't lightning. And so that was a benefit. When we were in Jacksonville, we had a lightning delay. So we got to work the lightning delay. If that was to happen, we've been able to go through a lot of those different circumstances, but we have had, some wet practices that we've been able to execute, and lock your mind in and go play the game. It's you can get distracted by that stuff, but man, you put the ball down, let's roll.
Last one, Brendan. What is it about the way, you mentioned you like the way the team has gone through this offseason, but specifically this week in preparation for this game? What is it about the way they've handled this week that has you excited for what you're going to see?
Well, it's the thing I've challenged them with is it's a competition. As today, are you competing, right? Whether it's against the offense versus the defense, special teams, or whether it's against scout team, whether it's individual drill, are you competing to be better today? And I think there's so much focus that can go onto an opponent, and we get a lot of respect for the opponent we're going to play, but it's not about them. Like today's about us. Today's about the way that we go about the work to be better, so that come Saturday when we got somebody lining up that in a different color jersey, that they're going to see and feel all of you. And so that's the mentality. That's the expectation. And I think our guys have done a good job in that response. There's been a few plays where there's a lull here or a lull there, and you gotta be able to grow through that. And every team I've ever coached has experienced that. 23 team experienced that at times during practice where you'd see a little dip. But when guys can own it and fight through it and go get better, in the practice opportunities and how they prepare, then you got something special you can accomplish. And so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing it all translate and go kick it off on Saturday.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Our first player will be